morning, everybody. Welcome to Stonehenge. I'm so excited to be here. Also, with Growth Track coming up, shameless plug, I love volunteers in our kids area, okay? So when you go through Growth Track, just remember kids ministry, okay? I say it, kids ministry. So make sure we sign up. So this morning, I just want to take a moment just to thank Pastor Joey and Pastor Carla for this amazing opportunity to be here with you this morning. They are with Jared and Kira getting their beautiful granddaughter settled in. So let's just give them one more praise because they welcomed another grandbaby, baby Murray. So we've been kind of going through this series, the Pre-Decide. And it's honestly been one of my favorites because it's all about pre-planning, the pre-decision. And I have been nesting and researching. So if you are a mom to be or you have been, you know you have a list. And then there's nothing scarier, dads, than a mom who is pre-planning. Or a first-time mom who is nesting. I sometimes scare my husband because I'm just running around. I'm like, we got a plan for everything. And you know what's gonna end up happening is he's gonna get here. And none of that's gonna matter, except for that joy, right? But Pre-Deciding has been my favorite series because that's just been the season we're in. But again, I want to thank Pastor Joey and Pastor Carla and also our kids team because without a great team, I can't be up here with you. So they allow me to come out of the shadows and share a message. So we have spoken about temptation, being intentional with our walk with God, and taking back our lives. It is about being able to complete this statement. When faced with blank, this situation, I am pre-decided to blank. So we're going to end this series. We're going to wrap it up with a topic that we are oh so familiar as humans, as Christians, as people. And that is when you want to give up. This is a hard topic because everything that we've just talked about leads to this moment when I want to give up. So how do I pre-decide to not give up? I'm at a loss sometimes because that's a pre-decision. And most of the time when you're in that moment, you didn't pre-decide anything. You forget. So this is about being intentional. I kept asking myself this question over and over, and it took me to a time when I played roller derby. I know I don't look like the roller derby type, but again, angry pregnant woman right here sometimes. Okay, I have it in me maybe. But if you're not familiar with it, you have to be on a skate track. And if you've watched it back in the day, they used to throw elbows and it was fun and you're on ramps. But when you're playing roller derby, you're on a track and it's a heavily contact sport. It's kind of like hockey and football and speed skating all at one time, but you're on quads, so it's really rough. But there's an assessment period, just like any sport. Raise your hand if you played a sport. I got to see a lot of youth out there, okay? You've had practice, assessments, tests, where your coaches and your team needs to know that you can play, that you are safe to be out there. So there's this assessment, it's called the 27 in 5. That's 27 laps in 5 minutes. 27 laps, that's 4,873 feet or 0.92 miles. Who's ever been to a skate rink? Right? Come on, more hands. I know last year when we were at the Georgia Youth Convention, we went to the skate rink and I saw these kids giving up after 2 laps. So imagine having to do 27 in 5. That's a challenge. The person would have to skate about 12 miles per hour to make it. Needless to say, I failed. Not just once, twice, multiple times. I failed by 5 laps, sometimes by even half a lap. But it was a challenge in order for me to move on to my goal, which was to be with my team. I failed the assessment, and each time I failed, I kept asking the question is, why? Why am I failing this? I'm a great skater. I've been skating for a really long time, and I'm good at everything else. So I failed again, kept trying, and there was a practice where I did it in the morning before practice started, and then I tried again at the end. And I can't tell you how much I struggled with that. It seems pretty easy, 27 laps. I was like, this is a piece of cake. I've got wheels, I'm going fast. But then I kept failing. There was a certain time when I was doing this challenge, I felt desperation. I was so desperate, I'm like, what if I just crawl? What if maybe that I'm only a half a lap short? That's fine. The enemy also kept telling me that you're never going to get this. You're never going to make it because you are not enough to be on this team. So biggest setback came to me when I was just walking out of my apartment and I tripped and I twisted my ankle and I had a major sprain and that was it. I was ready to give up. I was like, okay, obviously I'm not meant to play. This is not going to happen. This was the biggest setback that I have experienced during that. And it was like everything that I worked so hard for, that I wanted to achieve, that I needed to happen, wasn't coming true, wasn't happening anymore. You ever feel that desperation? Maybe you're just trying to build up your savings, and something happens along the way that, my car broke down. My son needs this for football. I need to put this money towards something else. And you just can't ever get to that one mark, because even just $1,000. So in my defeat, the enemy was telling me that I was not worth it. I was not enough. I was believing the lies and not the truth from our Father. Pastor Kyle put it really well last week when he talked about the enemy. The enemy, he lies, right? He speaks his native language, which is a lie. He is a liar and the father of lies. I was stuck on this track, skating 27 laps over and over and over again, because I kept thinking my strength came from myself and only myself. But even though he reminds us in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through him who gives me strength. But in my desperation, I couldn't remember that. I kept cutting myself short and missing because my eyes were not focused on the purpose, which was to be a part of the team, to be a member of this team that they can count on. I kept forgetting what God had planned for me, and I kept speaking negatively in my life. And Pastor Joey also reminded us earlier this series in Proverbs 18, the tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. I was the one speaking negatively in my life because I believed in the enemy. So again, how do I pre-decide not to give up? We're going to pre-decide to not give up with a few things. One, by pre-deciding why you started. Right? In our desperation, we forget why we started. We forget why God has called us. If he calls you to say, hey, you are going to save up and you are going to give to this mission, or you're going to get ready to go, then you forget because maybe you're getting setback after setback after setback. But what has God called you to? The calling and the vision and the purpose God gave you. Now, if you've ever read the book of Judges, you'll know that there were several battles within that book, right? Who's read through the book of Judges? Yes. Gideon and the Midianites, Barak and Deborah versus Sisera. But there's another battle, and it's not a very long part in the Bible. But it is when the Israelites are battling the Benjamites because of a concubine. Their battle was to rid and purge evil from Israel against their own. The second one is we will pre-decide how we respond. There's a song that I've been listening to, and there's a lyric, and it says, the power of faith's not the absence of pain, but believing that Jesus can change everything. So in this story in Judges, when the Israelites were going to battle, they asked the Lord, are you sure? Are we going to go? We're going to go into battle? And he says, yes, Judah will lead you. So they mobilized 400,000 people. And the Benjamites only mobilized 26 and 700,000 people. You'd think 400,000, 26,000, right? The Israelites are going to win. But that first battle, they didn't win. They didn't. They lost more people. So again, when I say the power of faith is not the absence of pain, that's true because sometimes we will lose. We will have a setback. But believing Jesus can change everything will change everything. Because later on, they kept asking for that second battle. They went back out afterward. They had that first loss. They said, Lord, do we go back out? I'd have been like, no. We just lost a bunch of people. But Lord said, yes, keep going. Keep going. Go up against them. If God ever gave you that word after failing so many times, and he just speaks to you, go up against them. Remember, he can change everything. So again, they go up for this third battle. They ask, Lord, are you sure? And he responded, go for tomorrow. I will give them into your hands. Man, all right. But you're still gonna have some doubt, right? Some pain, some questions. How's it gonna happen? Okay, are they just gonna fall into my hand? Am I gonna close my eyes and then they just drop? We still have the battle for ourselves. So number 3 is we will pre-decide who we surround ourselves with. You know, I passed the 27 and 5, not by myself. When I came back after my injury, I had my teammates skating behind me and yelling for me to not give up. Yelling, literally trailing behind me like a pack of rabid dogs. And if you've ever been chased by a dog or wild geese or birds, you know, it's scary. I made it. But they encouraged me when I couldn't. They were pouring into me when I couldn't. When you can't speak life into yourself, who do you surround yourself with? You surround yourself with people who are going to be like, yeah, I know that, man, maybe next time. I want you to tell me, get up, get going, you got this, go do it. I want you to pray over me. I want you to pour into me. So we pre-decide who we surround ourselves with. This is also at school. With our kids, if you see that there are other people who are maybe pouring into your life negatively, we can love them, but they don't have to pour into us. So we pre-decide who we surround ourselves with. God designed perseverance to happen in community. He says in Ecclesiastes, 2 are better than, everyone say 1, because they have a good return for their labor. If either falls, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who has no one to help them up. I don't want to be that person that has no one. I am so blessed to also have amazing friends who, when I'm having a bad day, they'll just show up with food. And I'm like, yes, Lord. But food with also encouragement. So at the end, the Israelites, they obeyed the Lord. They went out for that battle. And he handed them, the Benjamins, to them. They were actually ambushed by other Israelites that rose up. An extra 10,000 soldiers rose up to help fight that battle for them. And they won. They conquered that because they had people to surround them and lift them up. You can't wait until you are exhausted and ready to give up. You have to pre-decide to trust God. Remember your purpose. To choose a community of godly men and women and friends who are going to be your armor when you can't. So we're going to finish this statement. When faced with giving up, I had this long thing, but we're going to keep it real simple. I have pre-decided to have faith. Have faith. It does not come without pain or setbacks, but when you have faith, you have Jesus. There is no one else that I want behind me, in front of me. If you've ever felt desperation, know that you don't have to give up. I didn't have to give up. when you have faith. That feeling in your gut where you feel like, man, will I make it out of the darkness? Is my life worth something? There are people who are ready to give up their life, ready to lay down their life because they don't have faith. So, I want to invite our altar team to come on down. This part's kind of special because it doesn't matter how small or big your challenge is. Prayer, having faith, leaving it here at the altar where someone can lift you up. Is where it can be. Again, it doesn't matter if it's small. It doesn't matter if it's a big thing. We are here to lift you up. We are here to help you find strength when you don't have it. To have faith for you, because you are enough. So remember, we're going to pre-decide to have faith even when we want to give up. So we're going to leave this altar for you. If you are ready to lay it down, if you just need that extra push, if you have something that you maybe want to give it to somebody, say, hey, I can't pray anymore, I need you to pray for me, come down. My words are not enough because the enemy keeps telling me that I'm not good enough. I need you to speak for me. Come down. So we're just going to leave this open for a few minutes for you, if you're ready.